First off, let me thank you for doing this. I want you to know that there are others listening in. It is being recorded, and I hope that this is okay with you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
So
Hello.
let's begin.
All right.
Go ahead, Dorothy.
All right. Gloria and I, well, you call her Jean. Gloria and I will be doing the oral history. And my name is Dorothy Davis, and this is such a pleasure. You are cooperating with us, and you will be recorded in history and in the archives of this county. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And I hope you are comfortable. If there's any question that you don't understand or don't want to answer, be sure to indicate that. And again, we are so pleased that you agreed to do this. Unfortunately, we're not face-to-face, and that's not as a recording over the phone is not as great as face-to-face. But we hope you're comfortable with us, and we will proceed. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. One thing, my mom is a little hard of hearing, and she's not talking very loud, but I'm going to try to get it so that she can be loud enough so y'all can record her.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. All right. We are really trying to get to know Mr. Joe Burns. What can you tell us to help us to know him?
All right, Mom, you want to tell what you know about Joe Burns so they can get to know him?
Oh, I know what I heard when I was I don't know. I don't know much about him, because I'm too little to learn about him. But when I heard my grandmother, my grandfather talk, I would listen to see what I could hear about him.
You tell them what you heard.
And I heard that he had been lynched. That scared me because I didn't know nothing about lynching him then. And then about him, about when these potatoes rolled out of the bin and found him. And then,
go ahead.
And then, and how they drug him down while it was 81, and I don't know what it was then. And I was a little scared because I didn't know nothing about lynching then. I didn't know about it then.
How old were you?
I was just a little girl. And it's very young. I've been still in school.
Okay. But Joe Burns is Joe Burns was Sarah Brown's great uncle.
Great
uncle.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Joe Burns was Walker Burrell's uncle, which is Sarah Brown's grandfather. And Jessie Walker is Sarah Brown's mother. And Walker Burrell is her daughter.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's what makes it a great.
Okay.
Joe
and
Burns.
I'm sorry. And you are Kay, right?
I'm
Is
Kay.
that who's speaking? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This
I
is
was
Kay
wondering
that's
who was speaking. Okay.
Yeah. And also, Joe Burns was the brother of Martha Burns, which is Walker Burrell's mother.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And she was just a young girl when she first heard about it. Am I correct?
Yeah. She said she was small, and during those days, you want to tell them about how you sit around? She said that, during those days, she always hung around the older people and listened to the stories. And, when you were a child at that age, you never asked any questions. You just sat and listened.
Amen.
Right.
And that's what she had told me when I went over this with her at first, with the questions.
Right.
And she was afraid at that time. She was scared, so.
She was scared, yeah.
Yes.
And she did not know what lynching was or meant, other than it was something bad, I guess.
Not then, I didn't.
You didn't know then?
I didn't know then, but since we got older, I learned a little more about lynching.
Yes. Wow.
Do you still talk about the lynching? At gathering?
You still talk about the lynching?
Yeah, not as much now as I did back then.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember how old I was when we heard the story, when the rest of her kids. My older sister, Mary, she might have been in her teens, I believe she said, when I asked her when she heard the story of Joe Burns that was passed down. And then the older the children, the older we got, the more we heard the story. So all the children know the story of Joe Burns and know the history as much as we, can find so far.
Yeah.
Right. Now, did any of your family members write any information down about this, at family gatherings or family dinners? Did anybody think to write the information?
The only information that this is Kay. The only information that I wrote down is when, I went over the story, with Mom, and then that's when I wrote everything down that she could remember. And then that's when I started my research, looking for more information, because I, was the one that, pretty much was taking down all the history, of the family.
Now, when you started your research, where did you do the research? Where did you reach out to get information?
Since I knew there was nobody wasn't alive around to tell me, when I started the research, I started in Martinsburg Library, and I started going through looking up, the lynching of Joe Burns. And then one article led me to another article, until I had a lot of different views. The Martinsburg Journal had different names. Martinsburg, Statesman or something other. Yeah, it had very different names of the newspaper. Then I started finding articles from places in Romney or someplace like that, I believe it was. Just little articles, and so I compiled them, the ones that I got from the library, and I put them into our family of history from all the various articles and opinions.
Yes.
From the different articles, because I found one article that a black man wrote concerning that was also, I put that in there. That was his view, of what had happened.
Okay. That was very wise of you to do that.
Yes, it was. It really was.
Yeah, but everything's on microfiche or whatever that you have to use that little thing. So that was kind of hard for me because I'm not a technical person at all. You know.
I understand that one.
So that's how I started, you know.
Okay. Has the family ever talked about their belief in why he was lynched or the real reason?
Well, the younger generation, we seem to have our version of it, but you know, because once they read the articles, pardon me.
And that is the younger version?
Yeah, the younger version. I call it the younger version, or that's what I say because of the way, you know, we think now. You know, because I don't know how much you know about Joe and the reason why he was allegedly lynched.
Yeah.
And it was allegedly due to assaulting a young woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so some of us were thinking about, you know, maybe it wasn't that much of an assault, you know, that it could be they could have been going together. But that's the younger version, you know, what our thinking might have been. Well, some of our thinking.
I'm sorry. That's the version of most. That's the version of most of the lynchings that occurred at that time. The reason generally was because of an assault on a white woman, but in many cases where I have researched, they were dating, and someone caught them. And then the woman says, "Oh, he raped me." I'm sorry, I didn't need to add that, but
that's all right. I mean, you know, that's just along the lines of the way that the younger people, you know, the way that we were thinking that it probably occurred, you know, and everything. Why else would she go over to another side of the train track or whatever, you know, if she feared him?
Right.
I don't know. Right. But anyway,
right.
I don't want to digress too much, but it didn't seem to add up to me. But I wasn't there, you know. I just have to go on what the newspaper was saying, and then I just read between my lines.
Right. Now, thank you for that. Were all of you born in Berkeley County? Are all of you from the Martinsburg area?
Yeah, I've been living in all in Darksville all my life. Mama lived.
Born here.
My mom, Sarah, was born in Darksville in a house here.
Born in what? I'm sorry.
She was born here in my grandfather's house.
Oh, okay.
It's down now. Yeah. Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
all the rest of us were born here in Berkeley County.
I see. And how have you felt about living and growing up in Martinsburg, especially if folks were aware of the Joe Burns lynching, or perhaps they were not aware, but what kind of education in the schools did you get concerning the lynching?
It was never brought up in school.
Okay.
No lynching was ever discussed in the schools.
I will vouch for that.
Pardon me?
I will vouch for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was nothing. There was no historical. It was never brought up. You know, I never had anything about lynching, anything in my history that I was taught from grade 1 to 12.
Right.
Yeah. You know, You said Brittany did a project?
One of the social studies fairs.
Yeah. My niece, Ruth's daughter, did a project when she was in high school? Elementary school. And how old is Brittany? 36? And she's 36. So that goes to show you that there's not much talk of the lynching, in schools.
Yes. And when you said she did a project in elementary school or in school, did she include, or do you know, did she include any information about Joe Burns?
This is the daughter-in-law, sister Ruth Brown. Brittany was my daughter, or is my daughter. She did. She did the story from the newspaper article. She included the photographs that was found and any information that she could get from her grandmother with the project about Joe Burns and the lynching.
Oh, wonderful.
So you're the Ruth Brown that found the picture?
Yes.
Okay.
And Priscilla is your daughter?
I'm sorry?
And Priscilla is your daughter?
No,
is that
my
correct?
daughter is Brittany Brown.
Oh, okay.
She's the one that did the project at school.
Okay, I see.
And you married to Rick?
Yes.
Okay. Now I know.
Getting back to that project, how was it? Do you know how it was accepted in the? Was the schools were integrated at that time? Correct.
Oh yes. So it was actually a social studies project.
Yes.
So it wasn't like in the class. So it was something that was put out for the public that came in to look at the projects to view.
Oh yes, yes.
So it wasn't anything like in the classroom for the kids. It was something that they did eventually see it, but it was something that was displayed for the public and to be judged and all that.
Oh, the social studies fair. Is that what
right?
That's what it sounds like. Oh, I see.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm.
She didn't happen to keep it, did she?
Oh, we did for a while, but we're looking at probably 20 plus years ago. So no, we didn't.
Yes. Yes.
Do you have any other photographs of Mr. Burns?
No. Ruth found that one that that I sent you a copy of.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the only one, and that was by luck that we found that one.
And how did you find it?
Ruth?
I worked at the Berkeley County Assessor's Office at the time, and during our lunch period, there was a maintenance guy who we happened to bring up the subject about Joe Burns, and he said he had gone to a real estate auction. He didn't say where in Martinsburg, but it was a real estate auction. And at this auction, there were photographs, and Joe Burns' the picture of the hanging happened to be one of the photographs. And so at that point, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he said, "No." He said he had given it to Merle Spickler, who was the assessor at that time. And he goes, "If you go down to his office, he has it in his office." Merle had a wall full of a lot of historical old Martinsburg pictures. Like I think his dad owned a gas station at one time, pictures of the gas station, the old courthouse. He just had a wall of them. And and that picture of Joe Burns happened to be part of those pictures. And I went down and explained to him the story about Joe Burns, that it was a cousin of my mother-in-law, and if I could just borrow it to have pictures made, because she probably would have liked that, just for the family. And at that point, you could see the shock on his face, and I think he knew it was how insensitive it was. So he just gave me the photo. At that time, he just gave me the photograph.
Oh, great.
Good.
Now, who is that person? Is he still alive or?
No, he passed away several years ago. It was Merle Spickler. He was the assessor of Berkeley County back in the 80s, 90s.
Okay. Thank you. That's very interesting.
Are there anything else you would like to tell us?
No, I don't really have anything else, You have anything else to say, Mom?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You have any other questions?
I don't. Dorothy, do you?
Why did you? Okay, I'm looking at this. Why did you decide? But Kay has told us this. Why you decided to become the so-called the family historian? That was wonderful of you to do that.
Right.
Yeah,
she told us all the information.
Yes. And I'm sure there are more incidents and more lynchings that have occurred in Berkeley County or in the greater area, and there's no information about them. So you've done us quite a favor, and this history is wonderful.
I wanted to make sure that what was passed down from Granddaddy, from my great granddaddy, about the fact of where he was taken out of the jail and placed in another area, and where that he was found. I wanted to make sure that was still part of the real thing when they were saying that it was a potato that rolled out.
Right.
And that's because they were heading out because they couldn't find him. But then that one potato happened to roll, and that gave them enough attention to go back, and that's how they found him. And then, they drug him, up and down, down from the cellar where they found him and everything. So that part of it, was was still the same. And then I remember Granddaddy saying, you remember, Mama, you said that when he was hung, that it looked like he was digging potatoes because of the way his hands were tied, way his hands were, in that picture, and everything. But it was the way the newspaper article describes him, as being a tall gentleman. And everything. And so that's why some of the articles talks about how they have to climb the limb of the tree just to jump on his shoulders.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh.
Yeah, just so that they could, so that he could be hung, and stuff. So, but yeah, absolutely. And so far, that's the only sibling I was able to find, of Martha's. Was Joe, the only brother.
Oh, well, again, I thank you so much.
You have some
You're
of those
welcome.
articles that talk about standing on his shoulders to hanging?
Yeah, it was in one of those. Did you read? I'm trying to think. I should have given you that one. Did you read them? Because I don't, one of them describes it as that.
Yeah.
My thing was, I was, because when I found out who picked up the body, and see, that's what I was doing, and you all called, because I didn't know what happened to his body, to Joe's body.
Okay.
And because I couldn't find any information on that funeral home that was listed.
Okay.
The place that was listed as the person that picked him up, and I have never been able to find any information.
Okay.
So how did y'all find his body? Or were they through him at?
From a woman that wrote an article about the lynching, stated something about his body being thrown over the side into a black cemetery. So it came to some conclusion that it was the Green Hill Cemetery where his body was thrown.
No, you said Green. Where is that at?
Green Hill Cemetery is off of Burke Street.
It's off the Burke Street. Okay, down from Betty, where Betty
off
used
of
to
High
live.
Street, Burke Street.
Yeah.
Up in that area. Yeah.
Up in that area. Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I appreciate that information because I didn't have that. I didn't know that.
And right now, that part of the cemetery is being cleaned up and finding a lot of tombstones and markers and stuff there.
Okay, this is Dorothy again. I just want to back up to Joe Burns to get. He was once he so-called attacked a young lady. Was he taken to a jail, or was he just ambushed by the persons who hanged him? Was he in jail or prior to hiding in the potato truck?
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't in a truck. He once they from everything that I read is that they got him. It was like these 4 guys came around or whatever. But anyway, the jailer ended up taking him.
Okay.
And they put him in jail.
Okay.
But then somebody gave a jailer a little heads up that these group of masked men, were going to be coming to get him. Okay. So they thought it would be a good idea if they hit him. So the jailer took and hit him at his house.
Okay, so the jailer did that. Okay.
Yeah. Outside of, what do you call them, cellars? The little cellars. Yeah. Where they put food at. And, keep things cool.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where they had their potatoes. They would have everything that they can down in that cellar.
I see. Okay.
Okay? Yeah. And so that's why when they came to the jailhouse and they didn't find it. And so they looked all around, and then somebody gave them an inkling about, go ahead and just check in the jailer's house.
Yeah.
So that's why they went there. And then, like I said, and they went down in the cellar. And it wasn't until the potato, because they were going to leave, and it wasn't until the potato actually rolled out. Yeah. And then that's when they caught him.
Oh.
Then that's when they drugged him.
So the jailer was trying to protect him.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
That's what I'm getting. That's what I got out from everything that I read.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, are there any other questions? Do any of the other individuals who are on the line doing the recording, do you have any pertinent questions?
No. Neither one of them said anything.
Okay.
So what happens next with this?
Pat?
You can answer that.
Okay, this is Pat Hamilton. I'll answer that. Hi, just thank all of you so much. We really appreciate it. What's going to happen is that there have been people taking notes, and there's a recording, and we're going to transcribe the entire conversation just as accurately as we can, and someone's going to type it up, and we're going to give it to all of you to review to be sure that it's accurate and that it says what you want, or if there's things in here that you do not want, you can take them out. It's your document. And then after that, we're going to try and incorporate it into the history of Joe Burns and the lynching and his life and all of the others that we're doing research on with the lynching. So what you shared with us will be a part of, some truth-telling, the truth-telling about what happened to Joe Burns. And I have to say that what you all have said today is just going to be truly, truly invaluable, and thank you so much. I suggest it'll probably take us a week or two to get this transcribed so that we're all happy that we compare our notes and we got everything that you said. So thanks again.
Okay. You're welcome. All right, I appreciate it.
All right, we thank you so much. We're very appreciative of what you've done, and this is history in Berkeley County and in the United States, because it's a part of the Equal Justice Initiative.
Mm-hmm.
We thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have
Thank
a nice
you.
day.
All right,
and maybe one day I'm hoping when the virus disappears that we'll be able to meet face to face, and because you're outstanding, we appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate everything that you all are doing, because it's good to see that someone is taking interest in the things with the lynching and finding out more about what's going on, especially locally. Really, lynching itself it's bad enough, but then when you have family members that that has been lynched, it's it means a lot. Somebody hear their story,
Yes. Yes.
Well, again, we thank you so much.
We thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thank you. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks.
All right.
You too.
Bye now.
Bye.